So this might be a little bit difficult to articulate.
The next day, my car was scheduled to go into the shop to get a bunch of repairs done. 4 new tires, oil change, transmission service, alignment, and inspection. So I knew this was gonna be super costly, and at minimum, I would have no car for a full day. I came up with a solution. To offset my costs, I was going to recycle my scrap hoard, but that still leaves us with no car for the day. So my plan was to rent a U-Haul truck.
But my dad doesn't need his truck tomorrow, so he's gonna let me borrow it. And I offered to give him some money, but he said no, so I'll just, fill it up and stuff like that. So I have a bunch of scrap metal that I've been saving up forever. Everything's out in my garage, and when I say garage, it's barely that. Before I got here, this whole town flooded bad, so at some point it has to be knocked down. But for now, basically use it as like a shed. I guess I shouldn't be that embarrassed. People see it every day when they drive by, but it's different putting it out on the internet,
So this is a box of wire my brother gave me the other day. That's the shit I got from my dad.
I'm over here at my parents' house, and right before I was leaving, my dad told me, like, oh, are you ever gonna take that? Oh, I took it. And as you can see, it's filling up the backseat of my Accord, because that's the vehicle I have. People have sometimes commented like, oh, I take that as a compliment. Take addiction out of it. They're driven, nothing's stopping them. They don't care what people think, and they're not too good for anything. I know tons of Americans that find those 3 qualities, they'd be so much better off. They're too good for everything, but they're broke. I don't get it. You don't want to be embarrassed driving around like this, but you don't have any money. You got to figure it out one way or another.
And some of this stuff I already gone through and processed, but I got to get it all ready to go for tomorrow.
I started off by cutting up the radiators that I'd gotten. Now, most of this was just to condense them so that they would fit easier into the truck, but also to do a little bit of cleaning up along the way.
Here's a good example of something that you actually do need to watch out for. That's not copper, it's brass, so that can really devalue this. The only way you can really tell is like it's thicker and pitted. Brass is cast, copper usually is.
Now, one thing to note, don't try anything you see here at home. I'm not using this bandsaw correctly. Use it according to the manufacturer's directions. I'm a trained professional. Now, the other thing is you can easily cut them up with bolt cutters if you don't have a bandsaw, but bandsaw is quicker. It also uses a sawzall, but blades are way more expensive and you chew through a lot more of them. And then lastly, wear a belt. What happens is your pants start to fall down over time. Next, I started going through the electronics that I bought from the junk store over the winter. I had already taken out all the PCBs and things like that, but there was still some wire and aluminum and different things. And then lastly, I had to take the ends off of an AC coil. That was also in that box of junk. The ends of the AC coil are steel, but it's super easy once they're cut off to pop off the copper elbows, and it's worth a ton more money than either of the other 2 materials.
You don't have to do all this stuff, but separating different types of metals makes you more money, but also if you bring in like all stuff mixed together, not cleaned up, the Scrapyard is just going to give you whatever the lowest metal in there is. Now, if you have trouble telling the metals apart, the easiest way to tell is with a magnet. All non-ferrous metals won't stick to a magnet, so we know this is copper.
Now, I was also trying to clean up the garbage as I went, because my plan was to also go to the dump the next day, until finally...
Alrighty, so I think I'm going to stop there for tonight, and then tomorrow I'll have a little bit more time to go through, as well as I'm taking stuff out and putting it into the truck. I'm hoping to do 2 Scrapyard runs and potentially 2 dump runs tomorrow. Alright, it's now 8:21 in the morning. I've been editing. Now I'm going to get out there and start loading up the truck. I have a bunch of sheet copper. I want to put that on the bottom because that's the most volatile to blow out. I am going to really need to pace myself today if I want to get everything done. I'm going to take it nice and easy.
So I got to work. I started unloading the garage, and because I had multiple buckets of the same material, I started staging it out in my yard. So brass in one pile, number 2 copper in another, was not only to see what I had, but also make my trips more efficient.
All right, so I've been at it for about an hour now. So what I'm going to do is bring all the crappier stuff first and do the better stuff second. All the sheet copper I'll bring in first one, aluminum, motors, battery, anything like that that is not as valuable. Then you're kind of incentivized to go again. So.
Hi, Andy. What time are you guys open till today? Okay. And then what's your price on number 2 copper? $350? All right, awesome. Thank you very much. Yes, what's your price on number 2 copper today? Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. So one was $350, and that's only about a half hour from my house. The other one is $355. I know them, they're good, but it's an hour away.
The reason why I was debating is not necessarily about just the price, but it's more about the honesty of the scrapyard and the scrap buyer and how fair they are. There's a lot of shady stuff that scrapyards do. If you haven't dealt with that particular place before, it can be a huge risk because you're basically in their hands. So for example, when I was younger, I had brought a bunch of metal to my normal scrapyard. Now my normal scrapyard had got bought out by a corporate scrapyard. The scrap buyer, the person that you deal with that weighs and inspects and gives you the ticket for all the different metals that you have, didn't speak any English at all. So I couldn't communicate with the guy in any way. I had one brass fitting that had fallen into my bucket of copper that was cut off. It was an honest mistake, obviously. It just fell in there. I didn't realize it. When I looked at the ticket, the guy had given me copper and brass mix. It's usually at least $1 a pound difference. And so I'm pointing to it and I'm trying to ask him, like, why the hell did you... And he brings me over to the bucket and shows me that one brass valve. Now, the issue was he had already emptied out all the buckets. So it's not like he could change it, or I could even fight it or anything. So I lost at least $100 on that load. That isn't normal. A normal thing is if a scrap buyer sees that, the most they'll ever do is they'll pull that out. So that's kind of the risk that you run when you're going to a new scrapyard.
I'll go give the closer one a shot. I think at most I might have 200 pounds of copper. 100 pounds would mean a $5 difference. It is a lot longer drive, and I'm gonna have to go there twice. This is all kind of lower dollar stuff, so we'll see how it goes.
So this is my first time coming here. It's a little bit in the ghetto. I like it. It's kind of just like more old school. They only have one dock. Waiting right now in line. There's only one guy in front of me. It doesn't look like he has a lot.
So I unloaded the truck.
First trip down, you'll never believe how much that was. $1,440. I would have never guessed that. I thought my total would be that much. Holy shit.
With all that cash, I felt like a walking lick leaving that place. But then it was time to get gas, so 93 bucks down the tube.
So not a bad start to the morning. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hit the dump today because they only close at 3. My dad asked me if I could meet him at 4:30 today. I have all that Bare Bright copper at home. Been selling it on eBay. I'm thinking about bringing it with me if I have the space for it. I'll give them a call and just see where their prices are at, if they'll work with me a little bit. This is so much easier work for me than like editing video or doing computer work. Maybe it's just my long line of peasant DNA. I am gonna put this as part of my month-long videos. I didn't know if I was gonna do a dedicated video on this, but after that first run, I was way too good. I don't know how we're gonna do on the whole day, but. Hi, yeah, what's your price on Bare Bright? Can you give me a little bit better rate if I have a lot of it? I don't know, like between 100 and 150 pounds. Spot price, yeah. All right, sounds good. I'll bring it in. Thank you. Forgot this is recording. Hey, I don't know if you guys heard that, but $375. I asked him for a little bit better price. If I have over 100 pounds, it'll give me $390. So I don't know if I do. I had like 140 something. But I sold some of it, so I'm just not 100% sure. I just weighed these 69 and 67, so that's 130 something. I don't remember exactly how much these weigh. I don't know, maybe 12 pounds. So I'm cutting it pretty close, but I think I should be able to get it there. That's another 400 bucks. Oh, not bad. Hey, Andy, sorry to bother you again. You quoted me $350 a pound earlier on number 2. I have like, I don't know, 300 pounds of minimum. Can you give me a little bit better rate on that? All right, sounds good. I appreciate it. Yep, 360 and 390. Perfect, thank you. All right, so I just squeezed another dime out of them on that and 15 cents on the Bare Bright. So not a bad day so far.
So I got the truck all loaded up, and I even used the back seat to hold the wire. Now, this is mostly a highway trip, so I added a moving blanket and straps on top because I really didn't want anything to blow out, especially if there's like a motorcycle behind me or something. But even though I was scrapping, I still had to
drop off the package to the post office. We'll see how we do this time. All right, so I just got done with the second load, done for the day. It's 2 o'clock now, so I'm obviously not gonna be able to make the dump. $2,000, just over. So that puts our total, I think, just at $3,500 today. I have to do the math. Wow, I never thought it would be that much. I thought it was like 1,500 bucks. I knew it was a lot, but not anywhere close to that much. That was fucking awesome. I stopped on the way home and got McDonald's because you need to have a little celebration after a fucking $3,500 day. It's like doctor money, and we look like a dirtbag doing it, you know? I wound up paying for my car $997. Basically a $2,500 come up on top of that. Goes back to my original point. People will call you crackhead, people will call you a head. Here's a couple months rent for you, buddy. Stop giving a fuck what people think about you. Swallow your pride and do what it takes. Who the cares what anybody thinks? Somebody called me a tweaker.